good, cyberpunks and retro nerds? It's your host, Tommy the Hammer. Today we're gonna be pissing off Bee Cee with old video games. More specifically, the 16-bit Sega Genesis classic Toejam Earl.
Yo, it's Sega's Toejam Earl. The hippiness, hoppiness party that's kicking around the world. It's giving it to you like it. Toejam Earl is so funky, it'll make you scream like nothing ever before. Genesis is so much more. Toejam Earl. Two homeboys can play a different gig every time. Go get your one and you'll be in the hand. You gotta get it. It's a whole lot more.
I remember getting this game way back in the day for Christmas. My parents bought it for me and my brother. I remember the commercial was particularly bizarre, which, naturally speaking, just kind of speaks to kids. Kids like weird things like aliens and monsters. And of course, this game had a strange hip-hop overtone, which was kind of booming at the time. So this game was completely radical and highly sought after. Highly sought after by parents and kids back in the day for the Christmas season. So naturally speaking, when we opened that son of a bitch up and got Toejam Earl, holy shitballs, did we ever play the fuck out of that game. That being said, guys, Toejam Earl is a awkward and rather difficult title, and I gotta be honest, I can't wait to see what old Bee Cee thinks of this 16-bit craptastic title.
Okay, boys and girls, cyberpunks and retro nerds, we're gonna do a little sub-segment of Neon Trash called Pissing Off Bee Cee with old school video games. And today, one of my favorites that I picked for him to play is Toejam Earl for Sega Genesis. This is one of my absolute favorite games for a number of reasons, but Bee Cee, being the zoomer that he is, never even fucked around with plastic cartridges like this back in the day. He's a strictly, game disc only, online, etc. Which, I mean, it is what it is. He can't help being born when he was, just like we can't help being old Gen Xers here. Tom thinks that he is going to hate this. I think he might actually like this. And if nothing else, there's a little mini game built into this that I think he'll dig at the very least. So we're gonna pop this bad boy in, fire it up, and we are gonna get funky with some hip hop aliens. So stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Adam McDouglies. Adam McDouglies, ladies and gentlemen.
How's it going? What you got to say there, Douglas? Well,
Some funky hip-hop aliens, bright color world. We got funky hip-hop. What up, homie?
What up, homie?
And that's one of the reasons I love this. I mean, it was, I don't know, right in our kids' wheelhouse, It's got aliens, that's cool. They're hip-hop aliens, how cool is that? And every world gives you different funky music. Well, Bee Cee, did we piss you off with Toejam Earl?
I wouldn't say I got pissed off. I don't think I got pissed off. I mean, it wasn't like my favorite game or anything like that, but The game that I had to play with Dean was so unbelievably annoying that it might be hard to piss me off again. If I'm being honest, like, you might have set yourself up for destruction because you started off too strong.
Seriously, we went for the jugular too fast, maybe.
I mean, this wasn't that difficult, to be honest. I mean, it's more just a trial of, like, is this map even going to have a piece?
Part of the game, that they just added this extra little mini game feature where you can just.
I hope you guys enjoyed that Toejam and Earl video. Now we're moving on to Johnny's pick for the evening. It's a video of VHS. John, what did you bring tonight, man?
Well, digging through the old vault, I saw this movie and knew I hadn't watched it in a while, and I'm not sure if old Bee Cee's seen this one or not, but I think it's actually right in his wheelhouse. I'm talking about Wag the Dog, starring Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman.
I love it.
And even though this movie is from about 1996, it honestly couldn't be more relevant today.
Yes.
When it comes to skewing one's view on certain political topics.
Let's kick off the trailer. Check it out, guys. I'll be right back.
Don't go nowhere.
Crisis in the White House.
What's the crisis?
And the president's top advisors have been called together.
Oh, jeez.
The sexual misconduct occurred inside the Oval Office. With the election only days away, how much will this scandal affect the outcome?
The president spent the weekend pressing the flash. He wasn't campaigning, he was dating, actually.
Now, Washington's top spin doctor
We can distract the press for 11 days till the election. I think we got a chance.
has an idea,
We can't afford a war.
We're gonna have the appearance of a war.
but he can't pull it off without Hollywood's top producer.
Do I know you?
We have some mutual friends in Washington.
Why come to me?
We want you to produce. You want me to produce your war? Not a war. It's a pageant. We need a theme, a song, some visuals. We need, it's a pageant.
New Line Cinema presents
How close are you to this?
What do you want the kid to say?
all the spectacle
I know we're all concerned for the president.
I know we're all concerned for the president.
I know that we are all concerned for the president.
He didn't sell the line.
all the drama,
The president's gonna go to war with Albania in about 30 minutes.
Albania's hard to run.
These are chips.
We need it for the arm position on the screen. It'll be a kitten. We'll punch it in later, right?
and all the effects of real war.
Okay, put the village behind her.
Give me some sound of screaming.
Without the casualties,
America has seldom witnessed a more poignant picture of
They used the same process with the last Schwarzenegger movie. You're the man.
Albania, Albania.
That rhymes. I can't believe it. We forgot a hero. It was like we sent him the Christmas card and we left out the what do you call? Fruitcake. There you go.
Sergeant Schumann, if I may, welcome to history.
How are you? Anybody want a beer? Because I could party.
When it's cooking, it's cooking.
from Academy Award-winning director Barry Levinson,
When this goes national, I get to put it on my resume.
Actually, no.
What could they do to me?
Take him home to your house and kill you.
Academy Award winner Dustin Hoffman,
This is politics at its finest.
Academy Award winner Robert De Niro,
How would you like an ambassadorship? That's my payoff. Hell, I just do it for a story to tell. Oh, no, you couldn't tell anybody. Listen, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, you couldn't tell. No, it's just it's a pageant. It's a pageant. That's what it is.
Wag the Dog.
When the fit hits the shan, somebody's gonna have to stay after school.
All right, so we just wrapped up watching Wag the Dog. And man, that was a real treat to watch and revisit after all these years. And it's, I don't know, just as meaningful today as it was back then. I mean, sure, some of the, technology might be a little cheesy, but I mean, it was cutting edge back then. So it's a bit of a snapshot that ways. But I am most interested to hear what Mr. Zoomer over here has to say.
I liked it. It was a good movie, but it's funny because it's relevant for today, and Dale was kind of touching on it before we started recording. I actually feel like it's like it gives the American people too much credit for their intelligence, in my opinion. Because what we've learned in the current political climate is that nothing like that even has to be orchestrated, because now people just don't care.
Wow.
So it's like, I almost would have appreciated it more in the 90s if I would have thought people were smarter. But like, I'm at where I'm at now, and I'm like, you know, the president is in trouble in this movie for sexually assaulting someone, and they're like, we have to orchestrate something. Our president right now has been accused of that like times 40, and no one cares. So it's like...
Yeah, we're in arguably a much worse position in terms of like social perception of, you know, the government and, you know, the president. I mean, Donald Trump has definitely, you know, spun things his own way, changed the American people's outlook and everything. And so it's funny to view this movie in a 2019 sense. This just comes across as fucking quaint in comparison, in terms of scandals, in terms of...
Right. Yeah, I mean, in a way it was ahead of its time. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, it kind of was one of the first movies to sort of, you know, attack the sense that, like, you know, entertainment and politics are intersecting, and it makes fun of both politics and entertainment. I mean, you know, like Robert De Niro's character, he's kind of like a spin doctor for the president, you know, has to kind of like take attention away from scandals. He's an asshole. Dustin Hoffman's the Hollywood producer he brings in, so it spoofs Hollywood too. He's an asshole.
I would say that there's like some relevance, but I don't know. It's like, at the end of the day, I feel like politics being managed to have like this specific type of image wasn't like, at least it shouldn't have been something that was like newfound ground. I feel like that's always been there. And at the end of the day, like, having been a political science major, I don't want to be a politician, but like, I think people think that when they elect someone into office that they're that much different than them, and they're not. Most people don't want to think about it, they don't want to be involved in it, and so that's what we see today. It's like, if you did something bad as the president, he doesn't even have to tweet, he could just be like, nah, I didn't do it. And people would be like, you're right.
So you think this movie's too optimistic, is what you're saying?
Almost.
It was almost, you had these like two banger prolific actors with like a lot of dialogue, a lot of great writing, and this hardcore meta social commentary, which in the 90s, I mean, it was like infiltrating comedy, it was infiltrating TV shows like Simpsons and eventually The Family Guy, you know what I'm saying? And so like here you had this like, you know, culminating culture of what people would call woke today.
I mean, it was very much ahead of its time for its time. I mean, it kind of was very cynical for its time. It kind of called out, you know, BS for its time. But in retrospect, it's like folks here mentioned, it's kind of quaint, and because things have gotten so much worse.
Yeah, that would have been considered super edgy back then. This is our everyday.
Would you have called this maybe a kind of a red pill almost?
It's thought provoking.
Yeah,
I would say it's meant for you to take your own from it.
Yeah. You could look at the film as just some really amazing actors putting in, you know, their beliefs and their core values and their acting abilities into these characters, and it's a riveting drama. I mean, there's some corny moments, but like, it's meant to be corny. There's some serious moments that are slightly scary. I like the movie, I like the actors, I like everyone involved. So we've pounded this into the ground. Let's give it our star count.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do. An unnecessary...
We could have a long conversation.
Unnecessary amount of dialogue.
So star counts.
Let's start with Bee Cee. Let's go down the line there. Bee Cee, out of 10 stars, what would you give WAG the Dog?
This movie.
Alright.
Just the movie.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like,
Whoops. That was a bar of soap.
Alright, so star count here. Bee Cee, what do you think?
I thoroughly enjoyed the acting. De Niro and Hoffman together is always a pleasure to see. And there were a lot of funny moments. I actually really enjoyed the comedy in this film. But at the same time, and I'm acknowledging that I'm probably different than the normal person, I think if you're super into politics, the statement is not as grand as it seems. But this was probably a mainstream movie, and for the typical person which isn't into politics, it probably did have a pretty good statement. So with all that being said, I'm probably going at a 6.5 or a 7 for me.
Oh, okay. Rocket. What about you, man?
Man, I really do like this movie. This was, man, I saw this not too long after it came out. I believe I was still, you know, in my teens when I first saw it, and it was kind of one of those, oh wow, man, like it was really kind of eye-opening, you know, kind of caught me at that moment in life where I'm, you know, you're really finding out about the real world, how things really are, you know, kind of opened up, like, you know, allowed me to, I don't know, question authority for real. Like, wait a minute, what the hell are you guys up to here, you know? But I mean, just judging it as a film on its own, rewatching it here, yeah, it was awesome seeing De Niro and Hoffman, and man, everybody kind of was really on top of their game as far as all the actors here and all the scenes in it. Like, I don't know, really well put together. I'm gonna have to give it at least a 7.5.
Oh!
Like, I thought this was really good.
Wow, Dougals,
Maybe
what's
even an 8, like,
what's the digits on the Dougal count?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, you know, this film is very thought-provoking and it's very well done. It's got, you know, great performances, like you mentioned earlier. But yeah, I mean, like, but then in retrospect, it's got some weaknesses which sort of undercut it a little bit, in my opinion. With the, you know, the performances I mentioned earlier, along with what everybody else mentioned. And yeah, I mean, I'm with John. I saw this, I think, at just the right time when it was released. You know, for its time, it was very relevant. So I'm gonna have to give it probably like a solid 7 out of 10.
Oh, son of a bitch! Dale, laid on us. Out of 10 stars, what do you give the old Wag the Dog?
It's a decent film. I enjoyed it, and I will give it 7 foil hats and that's all you get.
Hey, all right.
Wow, 7 foil hats. Share that sentiment. 7 is the number for me too. Like, I think this movie has a lot going for it. The performances, in my opinion, in this day and age, outshine the overall message because eventually you gotta move on. You gotta move on with the times, and things have gotten weirder, darker, stranger, more abstract. Okay, after hours conversations, we are on a time schedule. My camera is about to die. We have filmed quite a bit today. We got a lot more to talk about. This movie left us positively bristling with energy. A lot of thoughts, a lot of things that we want to share. Johnny Boy, anything else to add after the fact at all?
See, you know, I talked to some people, and they say that
oh God,
Star Trek, I mean, is fucking real. Star Trek is fucking real. I mean, we haven't built any of our ships yet, but like everybody else out there, yeah. And they're pretty much like waiting for us to like get our shit together. What that actually means, like what shit do we have to get together, that's kind of up for debate, I think, in all honesty.
Yeah, what shit? Okay, so Star
Like,
Trek
We
is
went
real.
that deep into this conversation. Phase 1.
Whoa, that's a deep dive, man.
Alright.
Cannonball!
Alright.
Jesus
That
Christ.
is always the discussion. The discussion always is it for us to realize that nuclear, not only energy, but nuclear weapons is just fucking not okay, and that we're too warring and we're too ignorant of things? Is that what they're waiting for? The Enlightenment?
That's one of the possibilities.
Because that's what the major one every
You know, I think there might
said.
be some other thing out there that we are needing to purge, possibly, which is a real scary thought. You
But I
know?
like Adam. You gotta go.
What the flying dog shit fuck was that? What?
I know what that was.
Okay, so are we going down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories? Is that what we're doing right now?
I guess.
I mean,
Or are we?
what is a conspiracy
What are we talking about?
theory?
Theory, okay.
Oh, fuck.
You want to talk about theories? A theory is a consensus by a lot of experimentation, by scientists, by people, trial and erroring a idea. Okay? So a conspiracy theory is not a conspiracy fact.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we talking about exactly?
So, I mean, that's really the thing. Like, what is it that we are doing here?